And again, I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So if you leave comments and I don't respond, do not think that I am ignoring you because I am not. I just can't see it. I'm on like 5 or 6 platforms. But I'm Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, educator. And if this is your first time seeing me, pleasure. Great to have you. And it's I do a lot of reading. I just got finished. I came as a shadow, and I'm reading a new book. I think it's David Goggins. And I, excuse me for not remembering the title, but I'm reading to enhance what I'm doing. I'm not reading just for fun. I'm reading because I read to add to wherever I might be in my life at the moment. And right now, I'm in the process of putting things together. So I'm only consuming what I need to do the things I need to do. And I hope that makes sense because I think we can get caught into a state of perpetual consumption where we're just constantly studying, paying for courses, doing whatever, reading books, really for no purpose other than to waste time while not doing a lot of the things that we want to do or feel that we need to do. Now, with that said, um, I want to discuss complaining about the fruits that you planted, right? And what does that mean? Well, what it means is that today, March 11th, you are dealing with, or whatever you're dealing with, the majority of it was from fruit, from seeds that you planted months, days, years ago. And this is the fruit. So if you're heavy, it is because the seeds of overeating years ago. Now, if you're single, choices made, maybe not by you, but people that you brought into your life, and you get where I'm going with this. Now, with that said, here's why you don't complain. Yes, baby. Well, I'm on live right now. Take them down there, and we can talk about what Lightning did later. Thank you, baby. Go ahead, let them go for a walk. Go ahead, let them run. Go ahead. And so the point that I'm getting at is that I deal with a lot of people who have different problems. I'm a crisis specialist. I'm a counselor, therapist, whatever label you want to give me. I realize people are using those labels as an excuse either not to or to make themselves feel bigger than they are. I'm a person that talks to people who have problems, and I'm a problem solver. Real simple. That's what I am, and I'm a professional problem solver, which means you pay me to help solve your problems. You pay me to listen. You pay me to come up with ideas that can help you. That's what I do. Whatever label you want to put on it, that's fine. I consider myself a crisis specialist, counselor, therapist. That's it. So I realized that the reason why the books that have chosen was because I don't complain about how I got here. I don't complain about being a big guy. I don't complain about my knees bother me. This is all the seeds. This is all the fruit from the seeds I planted. So the question becomes, so what? What do you do now? And I'm not saying that your complaints are not about valid situations. I'm saying your complaints is the problem. Your situation may be very valid. Your problems may be very valid and probably are. And if they're hurting you, it is valid. But instead of complaining, what are you doing? Now, you just heard me mention I'm a therapist. Hire me or hire a therapist. You heard me mention I'm a big guy. So I'm doing the things to get smaller because I can't get knee surgery till I get to a certain size. Okay. And some people have even mentioned weight loss surgery. No disrespect. That's not the avenue I want to go unless I don't have any other choice. But I appreciate the offers or the insight to people who have had it. No knock on people who have had it. And I think we need to stop beating up on people who have had weight loss surgery, who are then active in their own physical fitness, who got smaller with the assistance of weight loss surgery. And a lot of people knock them. Now, I do have a problem with people who have weight loss surgery who want to act differently towards people who are heavy, almost forgetting that they were heavy. So come on now. Be motivational, but don't look down your nose at people who are where you were. We don't do that. We got enough of my brothers and sisters in the church doing that. And I got to work with them on that as well. But what I'm saying is instead of the complaints, get help. And if you don't have help, reach out and ask for it. Let me tell you what a kid told me yesterday while I was doing the Young Kings program. I asked the young man, "Where you been, son? Haven't seen you in a little while." He said, "Mr. B, or Mr. Keith, they call me, Mr. Keith, I don't have a ride after school, and I got to go watch my little brother." I said, "Respect, I get that." He said, "So that's why I haven't been, but my mom is going to be changing her schedule, and I'll be able to start coming." I said, "The door's always open to you, young man. You know that." And I said, "How are you doing in school?" Which I asked all the young men. That's one of the standards. How are you doing in school, and how are you doing personally? Those are two questions I ask every young king that is near me, comes to the program, I see in the hallway, whatever. He said, "I'm struggling a little bit." And I said, "Okay, who did you ask for help?" He said, I don't really ask for help." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, I don't, I don't, I don't really ask for help, Mr. Keith, because I'm just a person that keeps to himself. I don't really like asking people for help. So of course, this is a teachable moment, and I know I had to get to the start of my program, so I had text my partner was like, "Okay, I'll be there in a minute," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Let me explain something to you, young sir." I said, "You have your mom and dad, right?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You don't turn to them for help?" He said, "I do, but once I'm out of the house, it's all about me." I said, "No, it's not. No, it's not." I said, "Now listen to me. I'm a 54-year-old man, and I still ask for help." I said, "Because the minute we think we're an island, the minute we think that there's no one out there that can help us, we have become slaves to whatever's wrong with us." Now, let me say this to anybody else that's watching, so please listen to me. The minute that you wall yourself off and you believe that there's no one who can help you, or you choose not to allow anyone to help you, you become an island with no help in sight. And I said to him, "Son, I'm here. You're not scared to talk to me. So before you allow yourself to fail, you come and you let me know so I can find one of the other young kings to help you." We don't do that. We don't stay closed. A closed mouth does not get fed. Shout out to my coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr., who always reminds me of that. And the great thing I love about Glenn is that I have been saying that for years. So when I came across another brother who was saying it, and me and that brother is connected as soul brothers, respect. And so hearing it from a 13-year-old boy is one thing. But when you're sitting on a telehealth session and it's a 35, 45, 55-year-old woman, 40, 42, 35-year-old man, and they don't want to open up and allow themselves to feel that somebody else can help them, you know that there's some problems in the world. And I don't know who needed this today, because it's nice out today, just sitting out here on the steps, but it's nice today. But I don't know who needed this today. I don't know who's going to see this video and have said to themselves, they complaining about what's going on and at the same time not asking for help. Don't do that. Don't do that. I may not have all the answers, but here's what you gain by reaching out to me. You gain somebody that's not a slave to your problems, who's halfway intelligent. I think I'm kind of intelligent, but I don't want to be too arrogant. But you gain somebody who can help you. You gain somebody who can fight with you and for you when need be. But you cannot complain about what you've planted. You cannot complain about what happened then, because this is the bed. You know when they say if you make your bed, you got to lay in it? Well, this is you laying in the bed. But here's the crazy thing about that. You can get up out of the bed. You can make the bed. Hell, you can get another bed if you need to. So before you plant any new seeds and create any new problems, why don't you reach out? Now, let me be very transparent, right? 2020, my business was not where I wanted it to be. I was okay. I was a little under okay. I wasn't doing bad, but I wasn't doing anything I should be doing to match my level. Well, here's the crazy part. Now, let me be very, very transparent. My mistake is that I overvalued myself, because I was looking at what I thought I could be, and I was looking at what I was. And I didn't do the hard reality check where the F I was at that moment in my life. And let me tell you something. You got to look at the bed that you created, and you see that it's all messed up, and you just need to pull the linen off and wash it, and you don't. Well, how can you complain if you get bed bugs? So I made the decision in 2020 to get a coach. I said, I'm going to pay somebody to help me do better at business because I feel like I am failing and I feel that there's another level I can get to, but I can't get there alone. Now, this is where the beautiful thing that God will do for you. God has probably, no, I take that back. I'm not even going to reduce God to that. God has, let me be more firm to what I'm saying. God has surrounded you. God has given you access to the people and the things that you need to change your situation so you do not need to complain. Now, with that said, to activate those resources, you have to be comfortable enough to come out of your comfort zone and deal with some pain, which is being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is pain. Uncomfortableness is pain. And then you have to be comfortable enough to take the keys and give them to somebody else and say, please drive the car because I don't know where the F I'm going. And that's what I did in 2020. In 2020, I turned to Glenn P. Brooks Jr. Shout out to Glenn P. Brooks Jr. to say, could you drive my car? Now, let me show you something that God had did. Now, I met Glenn in 2015. But you say, Keith, you and him started working in 2020. Yeah, I did say that. But I met him in 2015. He actually came to me and said, my man, I like the things that you're doing, which is what I'm doing right now, going live. He said, and I would love to work with you sometime. Would love to hook up with you. Let's see what can happen. Cool. Like I hear a lot of people like, all right, cool. That sounds good. And we became friends. But I didn't bite at what he was offering. Same time I met Brian Brian Hargrove. Shout out to Brian Hargrove. And he reached out because he liked the show that Tiff and I was doing in 2015. Actually, before that, 2014. So God sent me two very powerful men. Now, one became my coach, one became my mentor. Glenn became my coach, and Brian became my mentor, all the way from Italy. Yes, God sent me somebody to watch over me from Italy. And he's white. Did I say that? Does it matter? Nope. And here's what he said to me, and I'll never forget it. Because I had made a post that I try to help everybody else. Maybe I need to start helping myself because there's some things that I need to do. And he reached out and said, I read that post. I've been following you and your wife and you and your wife's radio show. I would love to offer my help if you would allow it. Key question, if I would allow it, meaning if I would accept the offer of help. Glenn, brother, I think you're sitting on $1 million business. I would love to work with you. Again, if I was willing to allow myself to be helped. Well, I took one up on their offer. I didn't take the other one up at that time. So me and Brian started talking. We would get together every 4 or 5 weeks. Brian would pour into me and never ask for a thing. And I would hear it, but I wouldn't act on it. He would make some very great and valid points and hold me accountable to some things, but I just didn't act on it as deeply as I could have. Now, I was acting on some things. Let's fast forward 5 years. So in 2020, before I started to work with Glenn, I asked Tiff, what should I do, baby? Because I have all these different course materials and this workbook, and I've been a part of this, and I've downloaded this. And if you're like me, you got stuff all over your office that you honestly just need to use, but I didn't. Okay. And I realized that that's not my learning style. I need to be actively involved. I'm an auditory learner anyway. So I need to hear people talk. I need to listen to it, and then I can react to it. Okay. So Tiff said, yeah, it's a good idea to work with Glenn. He sounds like a good dude. You've always said great things about him. And then Tiff said, but I got to be real with you, Keith. And this is another reason you got to have great people in your corner that you listen to. She said, are you going to do what he tells you to do? You know how you get. And I said, what do you mean? I'm joking because I knew exactly what she meant. She said, come on, baby. You know you're hard-headed. If you're going to listen to the man, because I don't want you to waste money. And I said, you know what? Okay. And I prayed about it. But this time, the word inside said, yeah, you better go ahead and work with this man. And so in 2020, I started working with Glenn P. Brooks Jr. as my coach. Now, Brian was still there. The combination of the two men pouring into me, and then me allowing myself to not complain, but to do the work, doors started to fly open. Glenn invited me into his community, and then I started to meet other people who were where I was, but now we're on higher levels. That became motivation, but it also became direction, because those people said to me, don't worry, Keith, you're going to be okay, because I was where you was 6 months ago. I was where you was the cohort before that. And now I had a community. Now I had a community that not only could I pay attention to, I could grow from. Shout out to Cherie Brooks, Glenn's wife, another one of the coaches that came with Glenn. Well, they came as a package deal. Don't get it twisted. Cherie's the muscle. Glenn is the active out front person, but Cherie's the muscle. Love you, Cherie. You men, trust your wives. So now I had a community, and now I had coaches. The only thing I had to do was the work. And I started doing that work. And you know what happened? The lights came on. Sun started to shine. And things started to fall in place, sometimes faster than I could keep up with it. And opportunities came. And I started to redo and reshape and understand what my branding colors was, and understand how my office should look, and understand how my lives should look, and understand how my offers should be. And then the more people that Glenn introduced us to, the more I started to learn. The different, our conversations, Brian and I started to change too, because now I could pour back into him. I could give back to him for all those years he helped me. So I now help him. Now it's not just mentor to mentee, it's two friends talking business. And then from Glenn, I met Tarkessa Colvin, another coach, a literary coach. Yes, I said a literary coach. He said, but Keith, you've been publishing books since 2008, and you've worked on over 50 books, and you've written 6 books. Why would you need a literary coach? Because no man is an island. And when a woman like Tarkessa shows up and she wants to work with you because God told her, you listen and you take advantage of it. And so, yes, I pay her and I pay Glenn and I make sure I pay to Brian with what I pour. But let me tell you what all three of them do for me. One, there's no complaints. It's now a matter of how do I figure it out? How do I get it done? And trusting that I got somebody I can turn to. So now, why did I share all that with you? Why did I tell you that incredibly long story? Because I want whoever's hearing this today to understand this. Yeah, you effed up. Yeah, things may not be the way it is. Yeah, the person might have did you dirty. Yeah, you're just not working the job that you want to work. Yeah, you may not be making the money that you make. Yeah, you might go to bed alone every night, male or female, or in between, whatever. However you identify, that's cool with me. The question is, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to remain at a level that's uncomfortable for you if you don't want to. But let me just say this to you. The work is going to be hard and at times painful. You're going to want to quit, and you're going to actually start to make the negative level that you are on right now, you're going to actually start to make that make sense. If you're too scared to face the new you, you're going to say, the pain wasn't that bad. That job wasn't that bad. I mean, the pay wasn't that bad. He didn't really do me that dirty. She didn't really do me that dirty. I really didn't look that bad in my clothes. That car I had was okay. I mean, they had a hole in the floor, but the water only came through. It was okay. I mean, it was cold in the wintertime. Stop. You will literally start to make what you used to be sound luxurious. You know how I know? It happened in the Bible. Moses led the slaves out of Egypt. And when they got out into the desert and saw how rough it was going to be to get to the promised land, they started to say being slaves wasn't that bad. Now understand what I just said. They witnessed 11 miracles, but yet the minute that they faced some real difficult times, they wanted to go back to being slaves. Many of us are going to do the same thing. When faced with some real difficult times, we're going to want to go back to being a slave to whatever mistakes, to whatever negative fruits that we planted. Don't do that. So if you need help, you reach out. I got other counselors that are ready to talk. It's not just me now. Yeah, I've added a couple people. And I got a few more on deck that I just haven't activated because I have to have the work for them to do. I have mental health ministries in place, so I'm working with churches. I work with the federal government now, and I'd have my educational program at the school. You see how things change? And yes, I still am writing books. I'm behind on the current one, yes. And I'm even working on courses. I'm behind on that too. I went from having streams of income that I didn't know how to deal with to having streams of income that now I got to figure out how to get to all of them because of the ones I already have in front. Your life can change the minute that you decide you want to change it, because the God I serve and the God that watches over all of us has given us that ability if we trust in each other. You're not alone. The pain may make you believe that you are. Suicide rates are up because many of us believe we don't have anybody else. You do. And if you don't do nothing else, reach out to talk to me. I'm not one of those people who, when you reach out, I have to quantify if I'm even going to respond. Now, I may not be able to work with you depending on your level. I may not be able to, but I may find you what you need. Don't be scared to reach out to talk. Now, let me just say this too before I jump off this, right? Do not look to use. Let me say this very, very clearly. Please, if you're taking notes, take notes. Do not look to use someone who has offered help to you. Do not try to undercut them and try to absorb everything that you can and take from them because you're worried that you will not be able to get any more. Because when you do that, that person will close the door to you and you will then be on that island that you were already upset about. But if you follow directions, if you're willing to invest in yourself, yes, I said invest. You may say that's just a slick way for him to say if you're going to give him money. Slick nothing. I'm a professional. And the people I work with are professionals. And you pay for professionals. But the reason why I chose the word invest is because if you invest in you and you made a quality choice, then it changes. Because what you're investing in is information. When you come to me, you're investing in me having information to help ease your pain. When you invest in a Glenn, you're asking Glenn, can I get your knowledge and your community? Yes, you invest in that. When you come to a Tessa, to Terkessa Colvin, you're investing in her because you're saying your knowledge of all the books that you've written and the things that you put together she has a whole vault, by the way. And when you invest in her, then when she pours into you, if you do what you are told to do, you will get better. It's like when I was in the classroom. I tell kids all the time, I've never failed a kid in my life. They're like, B, you failed me last market period. No, you failed yourself. All I did was record the grade. Because if I give you the work and you don't do it, that's not on me, that's on you. So my question to you watching right now, what are you ready to invest in? Are you ready to invest in getting the help that you need? Listen, I sit with people every day except Sundays. And not so much on Saturdays. I ain't doing them on Saturdays. But during the week, I sit with people and we talk about God. We talk about what's wrong. We talk about their job. We talk about their sex life. We talk about everything. There's nothing that you can actually say to me I have not heard. There's nothing that scares me off. Now, you may go, he's an arrogant son of a, well, my mom is not no bitch, so don't say I'm a son of a nothing. Rest in peace, mommy. What I am is that I'm a street educated, college educated man who wants to help. So I got as many master's degrees in these streets as I do hanging on my wall. Yeah, I got 4 degrees. I earned those. But I also been out in these damn streets too. Yeah, y'all know, seven babies, 6 different women. I'm not proud of it. It's my life, but I own it. I wrote a book about it. Yeah, from Gigolo to Jesus. And if you haven't read it, why haven't you? I just accepted what I was, but I refused to accept that that's what I will be. So I changed it. And I changed it so much I can talk about it now. And actually, I can use it to help me make money because my past doesn't own me. I own my past. Just like I own my businesses and I own my work. So I have some good problems right now. How do I get the work done to keep getting paid? But I'm getting paid and I'm not flexing. That's just truth. And I don't worry about what other people don't know. What I worry about is offering the help when they show up. So I'm here. Don't hesitate. What's stopping you from reaching out? My link is in my bio. Go to my bio, wherever you're watching this. Go to my bio, and in my link, in my bio, you'll see a link for a discovery call. Let's jump on a call for a few minutes and sit down and figure out if I'm the person that can help you or what direction I need to tell you to go in to get the help. Okay? So, guys, I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I'll probably be on live a couple of different times. I got a couple bowling tournaments. Well, not a couple. We have a bowling tournament coming up for this weekend. Mentally, I'm ready. Physically, I don't know. My knee is bothering me a little bit, but I think I'll be okay. I practiced this week. I think I'm ready. But I'm just going to be able to hang out with some friends that are on my team, and I'm looking forward to the first time in the world getting together. And also, I realized, too, that I will be making some other trips to go see other people because even though this COVID thing is scary, I realize there's people that I need to go see to actually be physically in their presence. Or as Coach Glenn says, when I hug up on your neck, well, I need that right now. I'm not going to lie. I was content with just kind of being in and around the house. It's not working for me. I still don't want to be in a lot of crowds, but I definitely need to get out and about. So I'm actually looking forward to this weekend. So, but I'm definitely going to make arrangements. Come here. Come here. Come here. How did you drop the leash? Really? So he about to run out in the street because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Lord. That's why we buying a new house. So I can have them in the backyard just losing their mind. They're out here in the front yard right now, but it is what it is. But yeah. So listen. I want to end with this. And I'm serious. You are the solution and the problem. The question is, which one are you embracing? Yeah. You are the solution and the problem. All depends on which one you embrace. If you're embracing the problem, it doesn't change. If you're embracing the solution, God will send you the answers. If I happen to be one of them, you won't know until you reach out to me. All right? I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I want you to be safe, and I want you to enjoy yourself. Say a prayer as we travel. God bless, guys.